Hi, everybody. My name is Sarit, and I'm going to take us through a short 10-minute practice to help engage our ventral vagal part of our polyvagal system. I'll give you a little bit of insight in terms of what that is. You don't really need anything, just be comfortable. So whatever that means for you. You can get bolsters, you can get a chair, you can be lying on your bed. So our vagus nerve, a little bit of psychoeducation for you before we get into this. The vagus nerve is the 10th cranial nerve. Starts back here in the back of the head. And it's pretty cool. It has two branches, and it moves through the entire system. The dorsal part of it moves down the spine, goes into the gut, the viscera. It's unmyelinated. In other words, it's very slow. And it's communicating. The neurons coming from this dorsal part of the vagus nerve are going to all of the organs in our system. And then there's the ventral part of it. And the ventral part of it is a myelinated part of the vagus nerve. And it is myelinated basically means that it's in a fatty sheath. And it makes it very fast and very efficient. So if you were to sort of take both of these and use an analogy with them, the dorsal vagal is sort of like a clunky 18-wheeler that was put on a racetrack, right? It's like da-dum, da-dum, but it does what it needs to do. And then you've got the ventral part of it, which is super fast. Now, the ventral part of it goes like this, like a mask. And it communicates with the eyes, the throat, the ears, the heart, the lungs. And it is our social engagement system. And it is that part of our nervous system when we are feeling all right, when we're feeling safe or relatively safe, we're in that system. It's the system of connection. It's the system of I am. The dorsal system is a system of I can't. It's very collapsed. And then you have the sympathetic nervous system, which is the system of I can, right? Fight, flight. And the goal is to be in this ventral system. And the goal isn't to be relaxed all the time. That's impossible. The goal is to be in a state of relaxed alertness, right? We want the hypervigilance without the hyper. We want to be aware without being hyper-aware. So there's a few things that we can do to start to invite ventral engagement. One of those things is orienting. So, and you'll hear me do this in any yoga class I teach. I actually include this in the very beginning to invite people to sort of get into their space and check things out. So let your eyes, your head, and your neck move as though they have a mind of their own. And what you might notice, as it's happening to me, is you might yawn, right? That is a message from your nervous system saying, oh, I'm okay, I'm chilling out. So we're going to do an exercise called the VU. And it's an exercise that we do in somatic experiencing. Dr. Peter Levine talks about it. And what it does is it sends a vibration down into this vagus nerve. So this vagus nerve that we're talking about takes in about 80% of the information from the outside in. It's afferent, it's sensory-based. So what we're going to do is we're going to send a vibration. It's a deep vibration, sounds almost like a foghorn, into the vagus nerve. And what we do is we breathe in, filling up our belly and then our chest, and then we release the sound and we let the belly empty out all the way. So for any of my friends who are singers out there, try not to hold the VU, but actually allow the air to empty out. So we're going to go like this. Easy, full breath in. And then rest and track your physiology. Do you notice settling, warmth? Are you irritated? All of these things are possible. I noticed that it settled my system. I'm yawning. My belly gurgled. Those are all signs that our system is starting to settle. And the interesting thing about this is the system isn't very fast in general. So we're really waiting and checking in. What are we noticing now? And we'll do it one more time. Easy, full breath in. And rest. So if we're in that dorsal state, that collapsed sort of I can't state, sometimes the VU can be irritating because it's shifting us into the sympathetic state. And that's okay if that's where we go. Then we do it again and we keep moving up. It's like a ladder. And then orient one more time, looking around. And really giving your system a chance to be curious. If you think about our pets, our dogs, right? And they come into a new space, and what do? They go and they sniff every single corner. We have that same part of the system. And so looking around, what we're looking for are cues of safety, right? Where's the door? Where's the exit? Is there a threat? Is there danger, right? And the VU can really help shift our system if we're in that state of fear, and there isn't fear to be, that's valid. It'll start to change the messaging going from the gut to the brain from to all clear. Now, if you really are in danger and you VU, your body's not going to respond the same way. Yeah. This is what happens when you do ventral vagal work, is that your nervous system starts gurgling. Isn't that funny? Sorry. So what you'll notice, right? Belly gurgles, digestion, you might burp, fart, yawn. The system is coming back online. Your digestion is working. When we're activated, when we're in high stress states, what happens is that your digestion stops, all the blood flow goes to your limbs so that you can fight or flight, right? You want to be able to run, or you want to be able to fight something. And as it starts to come back online, all of those things also come back online, right? You get hot, the blood flow starts to come back in, you're yawning, you're doing all of that fun stuff. Your hearing comes back. Another interesting thing, when we're activated, the hearing changes, and we hear high and low tones because we're listening to things like a predator. So as we start to get a more fuller range of sound, we'll also start to be aware that we are starting to settle again. So try those things. The VU is a magical thing. Some people think it's silly. I know that Dr. Levine was influenced by Tibetan throat singing. Singing in general will stimulate your vagus nerve because you're sending vibrations all the way down into the gut. But orienting and the VU, some polyvagal tips. Thanks for listening.